to a lesson on solving by factoring. So as a reminder, right, what we're trying to solve are these quadratic functions, these parabolas. We're trying to figure out what are their x-intercepts. That's effectively what we are solving for, these important points right here. And to do that, we have to make sure that the equation is in standard form, where it's equal to 0. So an example that's already been done for us is right here, where we are going to um, factor this polynomial right here, and it's equal to 0, and I'll show you how we can solve for it. It's actually pretty similar to factoring in general, guys. It's not too much extra work. So just take a look at this right here. What we're going to do is, as usual, we're going to multiply the ends, 5 and 6. It's going to be 30 on the top, and 17 goes in the bottom. We have to think to ourselves, what times what is 30? And adds to 17. And we've honestly already been like going over this a couple times. So I'm just going to skip ahead. We know it's going to be 15 and 2. So 15 times 2 is 30. 15 plus 2 is 17. And you can use whatever method you want to use for factoring. I'm going to show you guys grouping. So I split the 17x into 15x and 2x. And then I'm going to put parentheses around them. And then I'm going to find the greatest common factor of both. I see if 5 goes into 15 and 5. And x fits into both. So that leaves us with 5x squared, I take away the 5 and an x, that leaves us with an x. And 15x, I take away 5 and it's only x, that leaves us with a 3. So then I look at 2x and 6, and I see that only a 2 goes into both. So I'll put down a plus 2. 2x divided by 2, that's going to leave us with an x. And 6 divided by 2 is a 3. And we know that we did this right because both of these are x plus 3's. So when we combine the 5x and the 2, we should get 5x plus 2 and x plus 3. And overall, there's been no change, right? Because everything has been equal to 0. But now, what we're going to do is, think of it this way, guys. We're going to actually figure out what the answer is to x because we have two things multiplying to get 0. What times what is 0? 5 times what is 0? Isn't 5 times 0, 0? 10 times 0, 0? 100 times 0, 0? So if either of these terms, either of these things in parentheses are equal to 0, we have our answer. And yes, that means both of these have a chance to turn to 0. So there's actually going to be more than one solution. Which makes sense because if we actually just scroll all the way back, we notice that it hits the graph twice. So there's typically going to be two answers. So anyways, back to this. We're going to make it so they're both equal to 0, and then you're just going to solve them as if you're solving for x. So on the left side, I'm going to subtract by 2 to get negative 2. And then 5x, the opposite of times 5, is divided by 5. So I get x equals negative 2 over 5. This one's a little bit easier, x plus 3. I'm going to subtract by 3 because of the plus 3. And that's going to be x equals negative 3, and we're done. That's our answer, guys. X equals negative 2/5 and x equals negative 3. That means if I graph this, it would be hitting negative 2/5, 0, and negative 3, 0. And that's not too bad so far, right? And the only way they could really make it a little bit harder is if it looks like this, where there's something that's not by itself. And I'll show you guys how to handle that. But what I'm also going to do, guys, is actually take this opportunity to show you one more way to factor. Now, once again, this is going to be another optional way to factor. If you guys do not like it and you like the other methods we've talked about, stick with them. This one could just be a bit easier for some people, so I wanted to give you a chance to learn that. So we have 5x squared plus 22x plus 11 equals 3. What I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that this is equal to 0. It has to make sure it's in standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract by 3. And boom, 5x squared plus 22x plus 8 equals 0. Now, here's where things get tricky, because this is the factoring step, all right? You know this is standard form, now it's equal to 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a method called swing and divide. And how that works is I take a look at the ends right here. And I'm going to swing this 5 over, that's why it was in red earlier, to the 8. And I am going to create a new trinomial. This is a kind of a cheating method. 5 times 8 is 40, and it's going to become this. X squared plus 22x plus 40 equals 0. And you're probably wondering, Mr. Porter, why are we even bothering doing this? And that is, well, some of you have realized that when we do the x method, like so, I put a 40 over 22, and it's 20 and 2. And you realize that if there's nothing in front of the x squared, these numbers right here are the factors, right? It's x plus 20 and x plus 2. There's no box method that you have to do. There's no um, there's no grouping method. You can just go straight from the x to the factors and you're done because there's nothing in front of the x squared. That's just a nice little shortcut. Now, of course, this is called the swing and divide method. And of course, that we start with the 5 in the front, and right now we don't have any 5s in the front, so we have to fix this. So the way we fix this is we have to now, after we've swung and we've factored it, we're going to divide. And we're going to take this 5 that we dealt with earlier, and we're going to divide our numbers at the end by 5. Now, 20 divided by 5, that works out really well, right? That's going to be x plus 4. Right here, though, that's not going to work so well. Can 5 go into 2? No, it can't even simplify. So what you do is after you simplify the fraction as much as possible, you're going to swing that 5 back into the front, and we're going to have 5x plus 2. And this is the answer right here, guys. Remember, it's called swing and divide. So if you like this method, which is just, let's turn this into an easier format, then we solve it, then we reformat it, then stick with it. If you don't like this and this made no sense, don't worry about it, guys. As long as you can get these factors, you're in good shape, okay? So it's not a big deal. Anyways, once we're done with that, what we're going to do is we're just going to take these factors, set them equal to 0, and solve them. So x plus 4 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. I get x equals negative 4. 5x plus 2 equals 0. Subtract 2 on both sides. I get 5x equals negative 2. Then I divide by 5. I get x equals negative 2 fifths. And here's our answers. X equals negative 4 and x equals negative 2 fifths. So in the end, guys, this lesson is really just, hey, we're doing what we did usually. Just make sure everything's equal to 0. And after we factor things, we just take our factors and set them equal to 0 and solve for them. If there's any questions, guys, make sure to ask them in class or send me an email. Otherwise, make sure you do the homework and you have a good day. Bye.